What's today's podcast?
Yeah, first we're going to start with this.
Oh, yeah, right. Here we go.
Okay, ready? And... Hey everyone, welcome to the... That was stupid.
Looking to take your construction business to the next level? At Primal Agency, you're partnering with experts that know your business. And that's half the battle. As Australia's most trusted construction marketing team, these guys are all about evolving your business. If you're looking to scale, talk to the crew at Primal today. Or check out primalagency.com.au.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Constructing Art Podcast. I'm Josh. And that's Kenny.
We've been setting up for like half an hour.
Take 57.
All right, this is really easy. We've got our new table, new microphone, the old microphone, trying to make it all work on the new Zoomcaster PX, the Pod Track P4.
From Zoom.
Yep, we're rocking a new system. We're getting better and better and better, and today we're re-recording our podcast 2.
Yep, Boxgutters.
Boxgutters, so...
Because I talked way too quiet last time, and
it was
no one could hear
boring,
it.
dude.
Yeah.
It was boring, and no one wants to listen to boring anything.
Stuff, yeah.
So let's just smack out a quick podcast on Boxgutters, because I'm sure the gladiators at home, they don't really want to know about Boxgutters except for why they should use them.
Yeah, well that was, we instead of going into all the technical stuff, we just go straight into when you would use a box gutter over an eaves gutter.
Yep.
And the practicality of putting them together.
Yep.
So like the main sort of reason that you would want a box gutter is because you're trying to do that low pitch roof behind some parapets that no one's going to see. You need to get the water out of there somehow, and that's what the box gutter's for.
Well, yeah, and generally it's hidden behind a parapet wall, like a big flat wall. We do a lot of standing seam cladding or just wall cladding in general, and people are going for a squared out looking wall.
Yeah.
And generally behind that you're going to have a box gutter.
Yeah, and then a lot of people get a bit scared about box gutters. Oh, they're going to leak. Well, that's what sumps and rainwater heads are for, and doing them properly instead of the old top-down...
Yeah, look, there's been a lot of advancement in box gutters over the last
they're not as
10 years. They used to be done really poorly. There was a simple way where you'd cut a hole in the box gutter and you'd silicon up a box from underneath.
It's essentially like doing a giant downpipe drop.
Kind of. Well, that's how we do it now, opposed to how it was
That's
before.
that's kind of how we did it before. Now we drop the actual, it's a one-piece sit, and we drop the box gutter onto this nicely formed piece that has 100, 120 outstands to sort of support that the gutters coming in, and it also, doing it that way, helps facilitate changing of direction a lot easier as well.
Yeah, so box gutters have essentially all you really need to know about box gutters, or we need to know, is people say, I don't want to put a box gutter in, it's going to leak. No, it's not. It's not going to leak. If you make it deep enough, if you make it wide enough, if you make it so that the water can get away, you're not going to have issues. As long as it is sealed up and it's all done to code, and the people doing it understand that and they understand what needs to be done, then you're not going to have issues. As long as either the sump has been designed in a way that is going to funnel the water down and get it off the roof. And you can see those designs on our website, and we'll put some links to it in the description of this podcast, as well as you could put a spitter which goes straight out of the wall into a rain head. Yeah. But the last thing you want to do is just have a dropper straight in your box gutter.
Yeah, well, the other thing, like the old horror stories that we talk about, like the box gutter that had the football stuck in the downpipe hole. So having hail guards and guards over the box gutter sumps will prevent them from blocking up.
Yep.
And that's another main cause of why box gutters will potentially leak, is if something blocks up that hole, the water's got nowhere to go.
So essentially a box gutter is really only a problem if all of the other things, all the potential problems aren't addressed.
Yeah.
So the difference between a box gutter and eaves gutter is what you have on every normal house. An eaves gutter, if that fills up or gets blocked, it just flows over the front and it doesn't go inside the house. Or hopefully it doesn't go inside the house.
Hopefully
and so
they've selected the right gutter.
The problem with a box gutter is if it overflows, it's going inside. And that's the problem with it. So mitigating the risk and making sure you put the hail guard, a good sump, putting proper drainage, putting 100 mil or 200, putting downpipes in it, two 100 mil downpipes in it, or whatever's required, as well as putting overflows in it. Just when designed, don't be scared of putting in a box gutter.
Yeah, they fit a purpose. They
make your house look good. Like, I've got a box gutter of mine that just spits straight out into a rain head at the end. Never had a leak, never had a problem. I don't get up and clean it.
And there's other practical uses for box gutters as well. Like if you've got an existing house and you're wanting to make an extension, but you don't want to have your existing house intruded on in any way, you can just build it up so that the extension comes off, and if you want, you can have a roof fall into a box gutter between the two sections of the house.
Well, and we've done that a number of times. For example, Pope Street, we did that for Scott there at Pope Street, and we've done it on a few other ones where you just build another roof straight off the side, and the join where there once was a gutter on one side, well then that remains, and you can continue to use that same, generally speaking, same stormwater system from that gutter.
Yeah. Or if you remove the eaves gutter, and if you're not having the other roof fall into that same direction, then you just put a box gutter in place between the old soda stream.
Gotta love the soda stream.
Yeah, go, and it'll create a solution to the problem there.
So there's box gutters.
Yeah, nice and simple. And then rainwater heads.
Yeah, so rainwater heads off the top of that. A rainwater head is essentially external downpipe point that collects water from one or two different, or maybe three different planes of water. So you could have a box gutter come into the rain head, but you could also have an eaves gutter that runs from the roof parallel to that or adjacent to that into that rain head, and then have it all flow in one point. You could also put your overflow in that rain head, so that when the water backs up in that rain head, in the stormwater, instead of it backing up in the actual box gutter, you can get it to come out of that rain head first.
That's it.
So
and then speaking of downpipe points, different type. There's like three or four sort of main types of downpipes that you can put on your house. You can put the generic PVC, which then gets painted. And
they do those in 90 and 100 mil, generally speaking.
Yeah, generally on a house, it's those. Commercial, you can go upwards of...
What is that?
That is one of the Air Force planes, I think, coming into land.
No, it's a rubbish truck. We've got the windows open here. We're an Air Force plane.
It could have been. Like, you never know. They do. One of those Globe Masters coming into land.
So we're about 30k from Amberley Air Base here. So
you never know. They have flown low before.
Yes, we have the windows open.
It's the dump truck.
It's the dump truck.
The dump truck. Putting on his engine brakes.
Anyway, so the downpipes, back to downpipes.
Yeah, back to downpipes. PVC. You can do 150 on like a commercial project, but you're not really going to put that on your house. Then you've got the Colorbond formed lock seam downpipes. Then you've got the spiral.
And in those you've got square and round.
You can do square or round.
Square. If you want me to put square ones on, I really will, and we will.
Square only looks good on a square gutter.
Yeah, so just talking about that square, we put on Plux Road. We've got a video. We'll put a link in the description to Plux Road. Linda Cascali, we updated her house, put a facelift on there over some blue board, put some standing seam cladding monument mat, and there was an ugly downpipe on there. I think it was green. It was some ugly,
some weird green.
And we put a square. Normally, I hate square downpipes because they're project home houses from the 90s essentially.
Yeah.
And I really don't like them. But what we did was get a monument mat 75 by 100 downpipe and made that up because it fit perfectly into the wall sheets and it looked really good. So there's a bit of a hero story in with that. So you can make them look good if they're
used in the right. Yeah. It has to be a design element for it to really look like it fits with anything else other than a square gutter.
But mainly we're looking at round Colorbond downpipes.
Yeah, 100 mil round.
Yeah.
Then you go upwards to the zinc powder-coated lock seam spiral locks.
Yep. Here he is.
Again.
He's come up the hill. It's actually the green waste bin.
Good on him. So
pretty happy that that's going to be gone. There's a lot of rain around, and we've been mowing the lawn, and it's a big hectic.
So
I'm just going to edit this out.
Yeah, we'll have to redo this whole.
No, it'll be good. It'll be good. There's some entertainment in all of this, but this is that.
Yeah,
part
B-roll, folks.
Yeah. No, we won't have to. It'll be good.
Yeah, so you got spiral locks, downpipes, powder coated zinc, or stainless steel welded.
We get
locks
spiral
in.
locks and straight stainless steel.
Yeah, stainless steel. You can do both. Yeah.
So basically, all the different materials which we've spoken about in other
podcasts.
Essentially all the materials can be formed into a downpipe. If it can be folded into a flashing, it can be rolled into a downpipe, made into a downpipe. So basically, you weld your oyster with downpipes, but
that pretty much sums up this one, folks. We'll catch you all next time.
Really?
For roofing. Yeah, we're going to can it because it's pretty simple. You can't really talk much. Like last time, we having to redo this because we talked on about so much just utter nonsense.
Okay, well, let me just quickly talk on the UQ. We did a did a really big, giant box gutter. It was 160 meters of box gutter. So you've got box gutters which are really simple, like what I've got in my house, which is 8 meters long. It's folded out of 0.55 Colorbond, and it'll last as long as the house needs it to last, right? I'll probably replace it when I'm 73. And that does its job. There's no issues. If it's going to leak, I'll fix it. Then you've got the extreme. So when it comes to extreme box gutters, we did a project at UQ, University of Queensland, back in 2016. It had 160 linear meters of box gutter. That was 1,200 cover. So 1,200 wide. It was all one. So it came down the back under the roof sheets, came across, and then came back up, and then a backup overflow. It overflowed onto the Luca bond outside.
And kind of was made, wasn't it kind of made like a parapet cap? End of it?
Yeah, it did. The end of it was like a parapet cap. It was made out of 1.2 316 high gloss.
Marine
Was it
grade.
2B, not 2B? Yeah, so it's another. So it was a glossy version of the stainless steel.
The high polish.
And it was amazing. We filled it up. We had to plug all the sumps. It had these massive sumps. So talking about sumps, this is where I really learned how to do these really cool sumps. It had these massive sumps that we had to plug up with these inflatable plugs and fill it with water. It needed to hold the water for like 3 hours. Anyway, it did. There was a couple of leaks. We dropped it out and we welded up those sections of the gutter. But what was really interesting about it had expansion joints. So on big box gutters, you need expansion joints.
Yeah.
And on some other linear gutters. But expansion joints stop it for this exact reason. We're up on this roof, and it was 6:30 in the morning, nice and cold. Everything sat really nicely. By 10 o'clock, the sun was beaming down on it, and the front of the box gutter, the parapet cap part, that had lifted 120 millimeters. Just twisted up 120 because it was this big, heavy piece of metal that was it's thin, but it's carrying heat from, well, there's 160 meters of gutter connected to each other.
Just a big heat sink.
So essentially, there we go. That was just me trying to extend this podcast to be longer than 3.5 minutes, basically. But there's basically what I'm trying to say with that is you can be as simple or as complex as you want to be, and as long as it's been installed properly and all of the risks have been addressed. So let's just quickly, the risks are things blocking it up, water not being able to get away through overflows, and it not being sealed properly.
Yeah,
that's
the main risk factors involved with box gutters.
Yep. All right. Well, Josh, you're the gatekeeper on the timekeeper and
Well, so all right, folks. Hope you've you've learned something in this one, and tune in next time for roof profiles. See yous.
Hey, what do you think of these? These are my daughters. He's got my son's head ones, and I've got mine on. But we're podcasters, so it doesn't matter.